and good afternoon, everyone. We are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. My name is Joe Serrano, and I am a workplace consultant here at UST. I'll also be your presenter today. Thank you, everyone, for joining today as we today will discuss different unemployment funding options for 501c3 organizations and also learn why our nonprofit members lean on UST for support. UST provides a wide array of solutions related to both unemployment and human resource needs. All right, let's go ahead and first thing off, let's go ahead and take a look at today's agenda. During today's presentation, we will briefly talk about the history of unemployment and how it definitely has evolved over the years to where we are present today. We will also spend some time talking about the different funding options available exclusively to 501c3 organizations and how partnering with UST can help with those different options. We will also wrap up today's presentation with some key takeaways and questions. And we'll also allow some time for some question and answer at the conclusion of today's presentation. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type those questions into the GoToWebinar question box, and I'll definitely be able to answer those questions at the conclusion of today's presentation. We also have a few poll questions scattered throughout today's presentation. Here at UST, we highly encourage you participating in those poll questions. Your feedback basically helps support UST in gaining a better understanding of how we can support the nonprofit community nationwide. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see from the screen here, by looking at the history of unemployment, the unemployment system has really evolved quite a bit over the last probably 90 years. Way back in 1935, on the heels of the Great Depression, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, basically created the Public Works Program, which included unemployment insurance. At that time, it was definitely needed in our country. Unemployment was close to 25% nationwide. As you can see, with the enactment of the Public Works Program, the unemployment rate began to decrease over time, which brings us to our next milestone. In 1972, most nonprofits were required to begin paying unemployment taxes. However, there was a catch when it comes to unemployment organizations. 501c3 organizations had the option to pay unemployment taxes or opt out of the state system and become what's called reimbursing, which you would reimburse on a dollar for dollar basis, a method created specifically for 501c3 nonprofits that really help them save money when it comes to unemployment costs. In 1983, the Human Service Unemployment Trust, which is now us, UST, was founded by a group of United Way organizations that really wanted to help address some of the challenges that came with the reimbursing option. And then the next milestone, we'd want to fast forward to 2013. Another major change to the unemployment system was when the Unemployment Integrity Act was enforced. This requirement continues to have a lasting impact on employers' protest rights, and we're going to cover that a little more in depth later on in today's presentation. And then today, present day, we continue to see states recovering from, unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic. While the unemployment rates remain relatively low, they have begun to creep up. As you know, unemployment is very cyclical in nature. What goes up must come down, and what goes down ultimately will eventually rise again. So this process and this cycle is definitely not surprising. Now that we've briefly learned about the history of unemployment, the unemployment system and program on a federal level, we want to really hear from you throughout the presentation and definitely during the poll questions. Oftentimes when we are speaking with organizations, we hear many different pain points that these nonprofit organizations are looking to solve for and address. Maybe they're looking to save money or a way to offer career transition services to their separated employees. Maybe they wear multiple hats within their organization and they just need some help managing their unemployment claims, or simply need some additional HR guidance to help with their day-to-day operations. More often than not, UST is able to help address these pain points that nonprofits face. So let's take a minute to hear from you with our first poll question. The first poll question is, as an organization, what problems are you trying to find a solution for? So I'm going to go ahead and launch this first poll question. Answering the poll question is really easy to do. All you need to do is either click or tap on your screen. Once everyone is done answering this first poll question, the question is what problem are you trying to find a solution for? I'll share the results anonymously with everyone. So I'll just give everyone a few moments to answer this first poll question. And that question is, as a organization and as a nonprofit administrator, what problem are you trying to find a solution for? And these solutions range from turnover to employment law. So thank you everyone for answering this first poll question. I'm going to go ahead and share the results with everyone. In first place was C, 50% of you answered budget management, followed by employment law and turnover or retention. So thank you everyone for answering that first poll question. We are going to go ahead and continue on now. Like I said, thank you everyone for participating in our first poll question. Now let's really dive in to the meat of our presentation. UST surveyed the nonprofit sector and found that nearly 1 in 4 nonprofit leaders were not aware of the unique tax alternative only available to 501c3 organizations. So the most important question is, so what exactly is this tax alternative? When thinking about funding options available to nonprofits, specifically when it comes to unemployment liability, there are really 2 main options available, but today we're also going to talk about a third option, which is reimbursing with UST. We will go into more detail in the coming slides, but the first option is the one that most people are familiar with. And this is the cornerstone of the FDR Public Works program we mentioned earlier, and that's the tax-paying option. Employers who elect the tax-paying option pay a rate determined by the state. The second lesser-known option is the reimbursing option, which is exclusively available to all 501c3 nonprofits. These 501c organizations essentially opt out of the state unemployment tax insurance program and reimburse unemployment claims on a dollar-for-dollar basis. The third option, which we'll also talk about today, is reimbursing, but also reimbursing with UST support. This is for employers who have opted out of the state unemployment tax program and have joined UST to manage their claims experience, essentially. All right, from the screen here, we're going to go over option 1, which is paying state unemployment tax. State tax-rated funding is a pooled claim system, which closely resembles an insurance program. Employers who pay into the state system are funding the statewide pool, often used to subsidize large for-profit companies whose claims continually exceed their maximum tax payments. Think in your state, those large businesses can be Starbucks, Target, Walmart. So if you're in the state tax system, you're essentially help subsidizing these larger businesses. When paying into the state tax system, employers on average are paying nearly $1.50 in taxes for every dollar that is paid out to former employees. So an important question to ask here, where does all of that excess funds go? So obviously some of it's going to cover claims for your former employees, which you want it to go towards. But those overpayments are going to cover claims for those for-profit companies I mentioned, any claims for employers that have gone out of business, and lastly, overpayments are also used to cover administration costs for state expenses. One of the most significant ways that nonprofits can save money is by looking at your unemployment expenditure. When it comes to funding employment, as I mentioned, nonprofits have two choices. You can either participate in this state tax rated system, which most organizations are familiar with, or become a reimbursing employer. Federal law allows 501c3 nonprofits the ability to opt out of paying state unemployment taxes and instead reimburse the state for unemployment benefits. For many nonprofits, this is a cost savings opportunity where the organization can realize a substantial savings per year versus paying state unemployment tax. As you're starting to see as a 501c3, when it comes to unemployment liability, you have options, but does it make sense to take advantage of those options? There are definitely benefits to being in the state unemployment tax system, like having a cap on the liability, for example, but there are also challenges as well. Those challenges, like subsidizing other employers with high claims year after year, will have a direct impact on your bottom line. That said, however, there are some organizations who would be better served staying in the state unemployment tax system. For example, employers that have less than 10 employees or full-time equivalents, or organizations with large layoffs or seasonal workers would really benefit from staying in the tax system, because often claims for these employers would significantly exceed maximum annual tax requirements. So from the screen here, you can definitely see what the benefits and challenges are associated with staying in the state unemployment tax system. And also too, just speaking of tax rates, did you know that nearly half of the states in our country either raised their unemployment tax rate, their taxable wage base, or both in 2025? This is really important to help determine the future impact on your unemployment cost. We always suggest here at UST at taking a look at your annual tax rate notice, which is provided to you by your respective state Department of Employment or Labor at the beginning of each year. From your tax rate, you can really see what the potential impact and cost are of paying state unemployment taxes. Now that we've covered the option of paying state unemployment taxes, let's go ahead and shift our focus to the other option, which is reimbursing. It's also called pay as you go. This option is very different from the state tax system in that organizations are not paying into a state pool or subsidizing larger for-profit employers. Instead, they reimburse the state on a dollar-for-dollar basis for their employees only. This exclusive option is only available to 501c3 organizations like yours and was specifically designed to help the organization save money. So instead of paying that on average $1.50 in taxes for every dollar in claims, you would only be responsible for paying for your exact amount of benefits to your former employers. Now that we've covered the option of paying, let's look at, now that we've covered the basically definition of reimbursing, let's look at some of the benefits and challenges associated with the actual reimbursing or pay-as-you-go option. Similar to how we discussed the benefits and challenge of the state system, there's obviously benefits and challenges associated with reimbursing. The two biggest benefits for reimbursing are that organizations are only paying for their claims, which can help you save money. And by managing claims effectively, it can continually reduce those potential costs. Some of the challenges faced with reimbursing is that significant claim volatility can really put a strain on your cash flow. Managing and protesting claims can be time consuming, and a sudden unanticipated loss could mean that you exceed that previous state rate cap. We also find that reimbursing is best suited for organizations that have 10 or more full-time employees, organizations that are obviously overpaying into the state tax system, and organizations with fewer seasonal employees. Now that we've talked a bit a bit about the first two options. Now let's look at that third option, which is reimbursing with the support of UST. We will spend the majority of the remaining presentation talking about this third option and showing you the organization and nonprofit administrator how UST helps reimbursing employers address those previous challenges that I just mentioned with reimbursing. Here at UST, we understand the complexities of cash flow challenges in the nonprofit sector. So we will showcase how we can help stabilize cash flows when you're reimbursing, so there's definitely no surprises. Couple that with the savings and asset protection, and you really create a great recipe, not just for claims administration and management, but for also financial stability. For those who have challenges managing claims or HR day-to-day operations, we will highlight how we partner with the nonprofits across the country who basically have elected to reimburse for unemployment. Before we move on, let's get to our next poll question. I'm going to go ahead and launch that second poll question so everyone can answer that on the screen. This really ties into our current conversation. This second poll question, the question is, are you currently paying state unemployment taxes, or are you reimbursing for your unemployment costs? So I will give everyone just a few moments to answer this second poll question. Today's second poll question is, as an organization, are you currently paying state unemployment taxes, or are you currently reimbursing for unemployment costs? All right, wonderful. Thank you everyone for answering the second poll question. I'm going to go ahead and share the results with everyone. It looks like 60% of you answered that you're currently paying state unemployment taxes, followed by about 40% of you that answered, I don't know, which is perfectly fine. As I mentioned in that one of the first slides, when UST does its survey, usually about a quarter of the organizations that we work with are not familiar or not aware that there is a reimbursing option available to them. All right, we'll go ahead and continue on. Just a brief summary. So far, we've talked about the history of unemployment, the different unemployment options available to 501c3 nonprofits, and the pros and cons basically associated with either being tax rated or becoming reimbursing or pay as you go. So how exactly do employers address the challenge of reimbursing through a UST partnership? As mentioned earlier, one of the challenges of reimbursing is the volatility or potential volatility of unemployment claims from a year-to-year perspective, and how those fluctuations can directly impact your organizational cash flow. One of the ways that UST helps address those challenges is by helping members build a reserve specifically through our trust program. By building a reserve, sorry about that. By building a reserve, it can really help to even out the cash flow. So when there are periods of low unemployment, you can build up a reserve, which is highlighted on the screen by the blue section on the graph. And when there are periods of high unemployment, employers can draw down on the reserve, which is highlighted in purple, all the while keeping deposits to your reserve account relatively stable during and after periods of high unemployment. It's also just important to have a plan in place for when and if there are any extended periods of high unemployment, which could directly impact any funds earmarked for unemployment charges. With UST's trust solution, we can help protect cash flow even further by continuing to reimburse the state for claims, even if they exceed your organizational reserve balance. So there's additional element of security for your organization. Also, as an added layer of protection, we also offer stop loss protection for those organizations experiencing excessive claims. Coupled with a reserve account, UST's trust program provides savings and asset protection by also effectively managing your organizational claims. Here on the screen is a great example of how claims auditing and claims management is critical to your organization's asset protection. In this example, an organization had initial unemployment liability for claims for over $58,000. But by working with UST and our claims administrator, they were able to reduce their out-of-pocket, dollar-for-dollar expense by nearly $20,000 by just disqualifying claims right out of the gate, as well as through claims charge auditing to really help ensure organizations are not paying for any erroneous errors. So I'll just give everyone just a moment to look at the slide here in the numbers. And here is just another great case study pulled from an existing UST trust member. This slide basically breaks down this specific organization who's located in Rhode Island, the difference of how much money they were paying into the state unemployment tax system versus the amount of money they would be saving by becoming reimbursing, avoided paying unemployment taxes, and also to what their anticipated unemployment liability would be. So I'll give everyone just a few moments to take a look at this slide here. UST provides a complimentary unemployment analysis for all of the organizations we work with. We want to make sure that they understand the difference between being tax rated versus reimbursing, what their potential unemployment liability, and most importantly, what their savings would be if they were to leave the state system and become reimbursing. So just really quickly, another brief recap. So far, we've talked about the history of unemployment, nonprofit unemployment funding options, and the pros and cons associated with each option, supported reimbursing, and some of the ways UST helps support reimbursing organizations with savings and asset protection. But the next important question to ask your organization, whether you're tax rated or reimbursing, is what happens when you have a claim? Before we dive in to the claims process with UST, let's take a step back and think about what the cost is to replace one employee. Those numbers can be really quite staggering. How much employee separation costs can add up? These costs can range anywhere from 50% to 200% of the salary of that replaced employee, which covers unemployment, recruiting, loss of productivity, and other things like training. So to look at it from a real dollar and cents perspective, if you have an employee whose annual salary was $60,000, it could cost your organization approximately $30,000 to $45,000 just to replace that respective employee. Think about the impact that this is having on your organization. What strategies could you implement to avoid employee separation? Some other important questions to ask your organizations from an unemployment cost perspective is to really know and determine what your state unemployment tax rate is, what the minimum and maximum state tax rate that your organization could face, what your taxable wage base is for your organization, and is there any specific stats related to your organization? What is your average unemployment rate? What are your specific turnover numbers? Those are all critical questions that you should be asking yourself when it comes to unemployment management specifically. Now that we've looked at the big picture cost of employee turnover, let's dig a little deeper into the unemployment process with UST, because unfortunately and inevitably, your organization will experience claims at one point or another. The great thing about UST is we partner with EWS, Equifax Workforce Solutions, to help manage our members' claims as effectively as possible. Through our relationship with Equifax, our members have direct access to a dedicated claims representative who helps your organization's HR team manage and respond to unemployment claims as they're received. There are several benefits to utilizing an unemployment claims administrator, especially if you're a smaller organization or perhaps a smaller HR team, or if you're an organization that is consistently dealing and trying to manage unemployment claims activity. This is particularly important as claims administrators help to streamline the unemployment claims process that really help ensure your organization never misses an unemployment deadline, help reduce cost, increase internal efficiencies, provide hearing representation if a claim needs to be protested, and lastly, provide claims auditing, which can really add up. In the next few slides, we will spend some time discussing the claims process and what to expect as a member of UST. Think about the claims process. This is a workflow. It's a good example of all of the steps involved in managing one unemployment claim. As you can see, there are several steps that your HR team will be responsible for. They will need to be involved at the time of separation, when the claim is received, respond to the state, and file and attend all appeals as necessary. This will become important to remember when we talk about unemployment integrity laws in the next couple of slides. So you're probably asking, well, how does UST specifically help with that claims process? Again, we have the same workflow that we saw on the previous slide, but from this slide, and it's color coded, you can see that UST really helps basically support that entire process and do all of the heavy lifting for your organization. The only time that you'll have involvement when UST is your claims administrator is at the initial separation, when you respond to the claim, and of course, at the initial point of hearing. This graphic does a good job of showing who is responsible and when. The dark blue represents when your designated HR contact would be involved, and the light blue represents the areas where your claims administrator would take the lead. As a reimbursing employer, it's really important to win at that initial protest level, because at this point, no benefits have been paid out and don't need to be recouped from the state. The great thing is UST members win about 86% of their protests at this initial level. When a claim is filed, your designated HR contact will be notified via email that a new claim has been filed. From there, they can log into the self-service claims portal, which we provide all of our members. It's called Case Builder. All state-specific questions are preloaded into that Case Builder system, so you can be rest assured that you're accurately responding and meeting all state requirements along with all unemployment integrity requirements as well. And also, just bringing up unemployment integrity laws, it's extremely important to remember to respond to all claims, whether you're working with the claims administrator or not. Even if you don't plan to protest the claim, it's extremely important to respond that you're not going to protest. If there are claims that are not responded to, you could essentially lose out on future protest rights for future claims. And we're going to go over those integrity laws in just a minute. All right, this brings us, everyone, thank you for following along so far. This actually brings us to our third poll question, which I'll launch. Everyone should see this third question on the screen right now. The third poll question is, as an organization, do you currently utilize a third party to assist with claims management? A pretty easy yes or no question. I will give everyone just a few moments to answer this third poll question today. The question is, as an organization and nonprofit, do you currently utilize a third party to assist with claims management? All right, wonderful. Looks like most everyone has answered this third question for today. So I'll go ahead and share the results with everyone. 80% of you answered no, obviously followed by 20% of you that answered yes. So thank you everyone for participating and answering this third poll question. All right, we're going to go ahead and continue on. This slide is pretty straightforward. You may ask, how do claims administrators essentially help with mitigating unemployment costs? There's basically four main ways in which claims administrators help mitigate unemployment costs. Through UST's partnership with Equifax or EWS, you are supported with day-to-day claims administration, which includes all appeals and hearings. They automatically review each claim that is received to ensure that you're not being charged any erroneous amounts. And lastly, they provide best practices and education on nearly all HR and unemployment claims related questions. Now let's think a little deeper about specific claims. It's important to be aware that there's two specific types of unemployment claims. You have last employer and you also have base period claims. Last employer is pretty self-explanatory. It's the claims notice sent to the most recent employer. The type of claim that I'd like to highlight, and you should definitely be aware of, is what's considered a base period claim. When the state is awarding benefits, they use what's called a 5-quarter look-back period. And if any employer has submitted wages for that individual within those last 5 quarters, then the employer will pay a portion of the benefits charges. All states across the board, with the exception of Pennsylvania, can't protest base period claims. If you're in Pennsylvania, the state will allow employers to pay what's called a solvency fee for allowing employers to protest rights for base period claims. Now let's take a look at another UST member. This is a pretty good case study, this time highlighting some of the benefits of utilizing a claims administrator. This particular member, which is located in Texas, has approximately about over 300 employees. They were looking for assistance with managing claims and were really impressed with UST's claims administration. Now they have a dedicated claims contact they work with basically on a daily basis to help manage their claims effectively. In fact, this member was able to avoid over $145,000 in unemployment claims just by utilizing UST as their claims administrator. I also mentioned previously that UST and EWS has an auditing department. Unfortunately, this is a pretty startling statistic. Nationally, we find that 1 in 10 claims are paid in error. And so with the help of EWS's audit department, UST is able to recover a little over $1 million annually for our members, which is money that goes right back to our reimbursing members and and obviously your organization. A more staggering number is that in 2023 alone, the states overpaid unemployment benefits by over $4 billion. So whether you're reimbursing or tax rated, it's really important to make sure someone is auditing those charges, because the unemployment benefits charges will directly either impact your unemployment tax rate if you're contributory or paying unemployment taxes, or if you decided to become reimbursing. So it's just really important to keep track of those charge slips. So let's just another quick recap. Thank you everyone for following along. We've gone over a lot of information so far. We've covered the history of unemployment, nonprofit unemployment funding options, and the pros and cons associated with both options. We've also talked about supported reimbursing and utilizing a third party like UST, how UST helps with savings and asset protection and claims administration. So the next question we'd like to answer is, how are claims processed when you join UST? Before we get into that, let's go over unemployment integrity. You've heard me talk a little bit so far about unemployment integrity. So what is unemployment integrity exactly? Basically a little history. Back in 2012, there was $11 billion in unemployment benefits that were paid in error. Many of that was related to the lack of employers' responsiveness. At that time, the Trade Adjustment Extension Act, that's a mouthful, was created, which added the Unemployment Integrity Act, affecting all employers nationwide, regardless if you're for-profit or nonprofit. The federal government mandated the enactment of this policy, the Unemployment Integrity Act, in 2013, which still exists today. So, important question to ask, what does this mean for you and the organization? The Unemployment Integrity Act requires all employers to respond to the state's first request for claims information completely, meaning that you can't appeal a decision and provide additional detail at a later time. Failure to respond or failure to provide a complete response may result in penalties, including loss of future protest rights, or even monetary penalties as well. So it's really important to ensure that even if you're not utilizing a third-party administrator, you have a solid claims process in place so you meet all the unemployment integrity expectations. Part of unemployment integrity means that you're responding to all unemployment claims, regardless if you plan to protest or not. The states require the following information for every claim, regardless of whether you want to protest the benefits or not. Some of the information you can definitely see on the screen here include the last day of work, the rate of pay, information on full or part-time employment, things like reason for separation, termination details and information, include all write-ups or warnings, and any resignation details. So it's just best to keep things documented and be prepared to face a potential unemployment claim and a protest. UST's claims administrator, as I mentioned, is called EWS, Equifax Workforce Solutions, and they've created an online portal which is extremely easy to use. It's cloud-based, and that's called Case Builder. Case Builder is a wonderful tool. As the power of attorney for our members, UST and EWS will receive all claims information in a digital format directly from the state. So anytime a claim is filed, they will receive the claim and upload it into Case Builder. Once in Case Builder, the claims contact for your organization will be notified by email. This allows for more response time and easy to access search. All of the information is stored in Case Builder. So Case Builder essentially acts as a information repository for your organization. Nothing is lost. Everything is streamlined and digital directly from the state. So it's a really great resource we're able to provide our members. Another great benefit of our claims administrator is their online insight reports, and these are really helpful for key administrators, financial administrators for your organization. The insight reports are part of the Case Builder portal. Through insight reports, you can pull detailed reports such as the unemployment summary, which provides information on who's been collecting unemployment benefits in a given time period. The claim status report provides a list of all open claims, whether or not somebody has collected. This report is really important to reimbursing employers as it allows you to calculate things like RPO, which is the remaining potential liability, to determine how much in unemployment claims can still be collected. And also to remember, during the claims administration process and the claims management, there may be some instances where you have an unemployment hearing. The good news is that UST offers unlimited 100% hearing representation for your organization. The hearing representative basically will help manage and assist you with the entire protest process from start to finish, including any appeals. The hearing representative will basically prepare witness testimony. They'll prepare all the documentation. They will prepare both opening and closing statement. They will represent your organization, and they will also handle any appeals process. The great thing about UST is nationwide, we win over 85% of protestable claims. So it's a really great addition to the overall claim support that we provide our members. Now we understand that there's some unemployment claims that are not protestable. Some examples of these claims would be lack of work, where individuals were separated due to no faults of their own, or individuals who were a bad fit for the job but did not exhibit willful misconduct. It's important to have a system also in place within your organization to address these types of claims. UST offers outplacement and career transition benefits to employees who are separating from your organization. This is a great benefit to offer the claims mentioned on the previous slide, the claims that you're not able to protest or avoid. There are many great benefits for both you as the employer and also for the employee that was just displaced through outplacement. Not only does outplacement reduce your costs associated with potential unemployment claims, it can really help foster goodwill with both current and former employees. Your former employees will have access to one-on-one job coaching, resume building, interview exercises, and much more with the goal of getting that person back to work much more quickly. If they return to work more quickly, it will help you and your organization reduce your unemployment costs, as those individuals will no longer be collecting benefits. So outplacement can really be viewed as a win-win for both you, the organization, and your former employee. One additional summary really quickly. Thank you everyone so far for following along. I know that we've gone over a lot of information. So far we've covered the history of unemployment, nonprofit unemployment funding options, the pros and cons associated with each option. We've also looked at supported reimbursing and outplacement benefits. The next question we'd like to answer is, so how as an organization can you stay compliant with your day-to-day operations to really help ensure that you keep unemployment claims activity and unemployment costs as low as possible? Our HR service, the cloud-based HR portal called Mineral, is included in all of our major unemployment solutions programs. And I'm going to go over those programs in just a minute further in detail. The Mineral is one of the most powerful tools for really helping your organization reduce unemployment liability. A large percentage of unemployment claims really can stem from anything from unclear policies, inconsistent documentation, or supervisors essentially handling discipline differently within the organization. Mineral provides the resources to really help your organization eliminate these types of issues. The live HR hotline, which is provided as part of the Mineral solution, provides your organization direct access to certified HR professionals who can help guide you through sensitive employment situations before they really escalate into a potential unemployment claim. The Smart Handbook Builder really helps ensure you have compliant, clearly communicated policies, something states review closely during contested claims. The compliance library located in Mineral includes thousands of forms and templates helping nonprofits always stay consistent and documented. And tools like the job description builders really help ensure roles and wages are aligned with state rules, reducing potential disputes as well. As I mentioned, the live HR hotline provides direct access to our certified HR professionals who can guide you through sensitive employment situations before they escalate into claims. The handbook builder ensures you have compliant, clearly communicated policies. As I mentioned, something that the state will review closely during any type of protest. And then there's the compliance library, which includes thousands of forms and templates. One of the biggest drivers of unemployment claims is turnover, especially preventable turnover related to miscommunication, poor supervision, and inconsistent onboarding. Mineral Training, the platform, really directly addresses these issues. Nonprofits get access to more than 300 on-demand courses, which help create stronger teams and reduce the kinds of performance issues that can really lead to separations. Managers within your organization can use curated training tracks, which are incredibly helpful for building consistent expectations across departments within your organization. The expert guidance ensures your organization takes the correct steps before a separation occurs. We always recommend having documented, consistent processes, which makes your organization much better positioned during an unemployment claims review. And then finally, the HR Mineral dashboard keeps everything in one place. Training, policies, and advice, really making compliance easier and helping your organization reduce risk while keeping all of your employees within your organization supported. So once again, this is Mineral. It's our HR platform that we include UST in all of our major unemployment programs. We're almost done. Thank you everyone for following along so far. This is our fourth poll question. The fourth poll question, again, it's a pretty straightforward question. How large is your HR department? So I'm going to go ahead and give everyone just a few moments to answer this fourth poll question. The fourth question today is, how large is your HR department within your organization? All right, wonderful. It looks like most everyone has answered this fourth question, which is how large is your HR department? So I'm going to go ahead and share the results with everyone. 60% of you answered 1 to 2, followed by 20% of 0 and 20% of 3 to 4 HR personnel. So thank you everyone for answering this fourth poll question. All right, today we've talked about a lot of unemployment information. We've covered a lot today, and we're just going to basically wrap up with some key takeaways and best practices. I'll share a few more slides in closing, which will review some of the general best practices and best practices on managing unemployment claims. Some best practices on managing claims is to always have a claims contact on file with the state or any claims administrator that you partner with. This practice really helps ensure that if someone is out of the office, there is always backup within your organization to respond, since unemployment claims are extremely time sensitive, especially considering the unemployment integrity laws. Next, ensure that all documentation to support your case is organized and available to all appropriate parties. Next, respond promptly and thoroughly to each claim when they are filed. You'll want to make sure you respond to all claims, whether or not you're protesting. This is particularly important as it pertains to unemployment integrity and avoiding monetary penalties, and also making sure that you don't lose out on future protest rights. Lastly, offer outplacement and career transition services to help your separated employees find work much more quickly, obviously thus saving your organization more money and reducing unemployment costs. And just some general best practices to remember. First, review your handbook quarterly or annually to make sure you're always in compliance with state and federal regulations. Remember that building an employee handbook within Mineral does that hard work for you and emails the administrator on file anytime there is a new policy that needs to be updated. Next, determine your annual turnover rate by dividing the total number of separated employees by the average number of people in your organization. This is an important factor in helping determine your annual turnover cost. Next, determine your annual turnover cost to keep track of the costs associated with turnover. Are there any strategies you can put in place to reduce that number of turnovers each year? Next, stay compliant with the digital platform, something like Mineral. This would be helpful if you're a small HR organization or someone that wears multiple hats within your organization. Make sure you review and assign training courses to onboard new hires and provide continual development for current employees and supervisors as well. And just another best practice slide. This slide is basically 5 ways to keep your unemployment costs low. First, always be proactive and be prepared for claims before they ever happen. Next, decide when to protest improper claims. This doesn't mean you shouldn't respond to all claims you decide not to protest. You should always respond to all claims. Third, make sure that all unemployment claims responses are timely and correctly completed to avoid any unemployment integrity penalties. 4, always appeal all undeserved benefit determinations. Documentation is really critical for this to really help prove your case and to make sure it's as strong as possible when presented in front of an appellate judge. Finally, attend all unemployment hearings, and if partnering with the claims administrator, request a hearing rep to support your organization as well. And this, one more thing to remember, on an annual basis, you should always benchmark your unemployment costs to ensure you're saving your organization and reducing its cost as much as possible. In fact, if you have little to no turnover, maybe it's a good time to switch to reimbursing. Ask yourself, how many full and part-time benefit employees does your organization have? How often do they collect benefits? Do you have any planned growth or reduction in staff? Where does your organization fall on the state unemployment tax rate scale? What is your state's taxable wage base? Would you benefit from having dedicated claims administration support? If your organization ever needs any help answering any of these questions or looking at what option would be best for your organization when it comes to being tax rated or reimbursing, UST is always there to help provide a complimentary unemployment savings analysis and just provide general support if you have any questions. We are extremely nonprofit centered, and we're here to help answer those specific types of questions. We're almost done, just a couple of more slides, everyone. Thank you everyone so far for following along. A little bit of information on UST before I let you go. UST is a grantor-based trust, meaning we're a nonprofit organization which is owned by its more than 2,200 nonprofit members nationwide. We provide unemployment savings and HR solutions exclusively to the 501c3 nonprofit community. UST was founded in the early 1980s by a group of United Ways wanting to take advantage of an exclusive tax exemption, which we've talked about, reimbursing, that allows nonprofit organizations the ability to opt out of paying state unemployment taxes. These organizations wanted to make sure that they had the best practices and risk management tools available that they successfully reimburse for unemployment rather than paying into the state unemployment tax system. We at UST, including myself, we've worked with nonprofits that have been able to save thousands of dollars annually by exercising this tax exemption. A large number of our original members still partner with UST nearly 40 years later. Today, UST works with nonprofit communities nationwide. We're also endorsed by over 70 nonprofit advocacy groups, and 98% of our members would refer UST to another organization. And just a couple more slides. This slide here goes over in reviews UST's main programs that we provide our members and the nonprofit community. At the very top in the dark blue bubble, we have our trust program. The trust is our core program, which started in 1983. Our trust program really helps our members usually save up to about 60% on unemployment costs and prepare for future costs via a self-funded account. Unlike traditional unemployment taxes, the funds you deposit into your reserve and trust account remain the asset of your organization. That's a critical consideration. Because you own your own account, any positive account balance you carry is considered your company's funds, unlike the state system in the state reserve. We also have several other programs, which include our support program, which was designed specifically for organizations that are tax rated and potentially may need to stay in the state system. They may have, unfortunately, high claims volatility, but through our support program, the organization is basically able to utilize all of our claims support and workforce solutions, including claims administration, outplacement, and the mineral portal. We also have a fully insured program, which is called Secure. We also have a HR workplace program for organizations just wanting to focus on HR support. It's basically our mineral portal a la carte. All right, everyone, this brings us to our final poll question, and definitely optional. We just would like to ask you as the organization and administrator for your organization, how can UST help you today? We offer a wide array of support and services. We can help with a complimentary unemployment program evaluation. We offer a complimentary 60-day trial and demo of mineral. We also offer a demo of Case Builder, so if you're interested in learning more about how we could support your organization with claims administration, we also offer a demo of our claims administration. We also offer a fully non-binding quote for UST Secure, which is our fully insured program. So I'll just give everyone a few moments to answer this last poll question. All right, well, thank you everyone for answering that final question. I'd like just to take a few moments to answer any questions that you may have. I want to thank everyone for joining today. On behalf of UST, I'd like to say thank you. Again, my name is Joe Serrano. I'm a senior consultant here at UST. Personally, I've been here for almost 7 years now. I work with nonprofits on a day-to-day basis, and I've seen firsthand how UST's programs and workforce solutions can really help support organizations with everything from HR to support to unemployment claims administration. So I'm just going to go ahead and stay on the line for the next few minutes. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to type those questions into the GoToWebinar question box. I'll be here for the next, probably 3 to 5 minutes or however long it would take to answer everyone's questions. So I'll just give everyone a moment. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. My name is Joe Serrano. I'm a workplace consultant here at UST. If any of you have any questions, please feel free to type those into the GoToWebinar question box. I'm more than happy to answer anyone's questions. Also too, in the future, if you do have questions or would like to reach out and speak to one of the UST's workforce consultants, you can definitely reach us in several different ways. You can always email UST at info@chooseust.org. You can visit our website. You can call our hotline number, which is 888-249-4788, or you can scan the QR codes that you see here on the screen. Everyone that attended today will receive a digital copy and recording of today's presentation within the next 24 to 48 hours. So everyone will definitely receive this information that we've gone over today. Again, my name is Joe Serrano. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, but in the future, you can always reach out to me directly as well. More than happy to meet every one of you individually and see how UST can help support your organization. Once again, my name is Joe Serrano. I'm a workplace consultant here at UST. I would like to thank everyone for attending today. I hope that we are able to provide some helpful information and resources on how to manage your unemployment within your organization to help save money and reduce cost. In the future, if you have any questions, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to UST. We're also a nonprofit-centered organization, more than happy to support your organization in any way we can. As you can see here on the screen, there's several ways to reach out and contact UST. You can do anything from email UST at info@chooseust.org. You can visit our website, you can call, or you can scan the QR codes on the screen here if you have any questions. It looks like no questions have come in currently. So I am going to go ahead and close out for today. Again, my name is Joe Serrano, and I want to thank everyone for attending today's presentation.